Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Very glad to be here. Good to see you. Very glad you're here. Once again, the evening is upon us, and it just seems like a good time to do a little drinking and a little thinking. So, come join me if you will. I'd be honored if you would. And hopefully we'll learn something today that we didn't know yesterday. Bring what you got, of course, or nothing at all. I won't judge. And I brought the old Earl Grey, the trusty Earl Grey. Can't go wrong. At least I don't think. So, yeah, that being said, cheers to you. And Jesus too. Hot. Let that cool down for a minute. Anyway, as you probably know, I do a lot of reading, and just something kind of struck me. I was reading an article about how they wanted to get rid of Trump. They wanted a 25th Amendment him and this and that. And also his Trump's Vietnam deferments, right? I mean, I remember, seemed like every day on the news, in public. I used to work at Oakland, California, which, as you know, is no bastion of conservatism, right? There were a lot of liberals there talking about how Trump, didn't do his civic duty and he got out of Vietnam by claiming, talking about his bone spurs and claiming this and that. Well, that's funny. That's very funny you all say that. And for all of you people, I would like to read this article to you. Well, not just you people, everybody. But it comes from the SF Gate, which, as you know, Bay Area, no bastion of conservatism. And people in the SF Gate are so far left, they'd probably throw Stalin himself in the gulag. Let's just not kid ourselves here. But the title of this article is called Biden Deferred, Disqualified from Vietnam Duty. Comes to us by Randall Chase with the Associated Press. Obviously, I found this on SF Gate. And this is written in 2008. And, classic. Let's read it, shall we? It goes a little something like this. Democratic vice presidential nominee Joe Biden received 5 student draft deferments during the Vietnam War, the same number of deferments received by Vice President Dick Cheney, and later was disqualified from service because of earlier asthma. Officials with Democratic presidential nominee Barack Obama's campaign released Biden's selective service records at the request of the Associated Press. Less detailed records were available from a National Archives facility in Philadelphia. According to the documents, Biden, 65, received several deferments while he was an undergraduate at the University of Delaware and later as a law student at Syracuse University. A month after undergoing a physical exam in 1968, Biden received a selective service classification of 1-Y, meaning he was available for service only in the event of national emergency. As a result of a physical exam on April 5, 1968, Joe Biden was classified 1-Y and disqualified from service because of asthma as a teenager, said David Wade, a campaign spokesman. In, quote, Promises to Keep, a memoir that was published last year and became an instant bestseller after he was tapped as Obama's running mate, Biden never mentions his asthma, recounting an active childhood, work as a lifeguard, and football exploits in high school. Anybody remember the Corn Pop story?
And Corn Pop was a bad dude. And you walk to the car and say, you may cut me, man, but I'm going to wrap this chain around your head.
Yeah, that one. One of my favorites, by the way. But moving on. The Obama campaign pointed to media interviews from 1987 when Biden was making his first bid for the presidency that mentioned his asthma. Biden's 5 student deferments equal the number given to Cheney, who has been quoted as saying he had, quote, other priorities than military service in the 1960s. My, how patriotic. According to records, The Associated Press obtained from the National Archives, Biden registered February 15th, 1961 with the Selective Service when he was an 18-year-old student at Archmere Academy in Wilmington, Delaware. The archives documents do not include any information about his classification or physical exam. Documents provided by the Obama campaign indicate Biden received a classification questionnaire in October 1963 when he was enrolled at the University of Delaware and received his first 2-S student deferment a month later. Additional deferments were granted in roughly 12-month intervals, the last coming in January 1968. And there you have it. Joe Biden was no patriot either, was he? Or if he was, I can't tell. It doesn't show. And it just tickles me pink. To no end, actually, that the left would sit there and hound and attack Trump for his Vietnam deferments. And no mention of Joe Biden. Now, why is that? Why does the left do this? They constantly do this, right? And for us on the side of truth and reason and logic, conservatives, libertarians, and all the others in that tent, we're often confused. Why do they do this? Why? How can they sit there and lie to us, right? How can these news anchors get up here on national television and with a straight face lie to millions of Americans every night? How do they do that, right? My friend, you're thinking conservatively. You're thinking logically. That's the problem. Remember, you're projecting, and projecting is something that you don't want to do, right? You don't want to associate your enemy's actions of something you would do. I don't know if I phrased that right, but just try and realize, right, they're not us, right? We think to ourselves, well, if I lied like that, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. Well, let me assure you, friend, they sleep very well at night. You know why that is? How can these reporters get up there and lie to us? How can the White House get up there and lie to us? The elections, they lie to you, they lie to me, they lie to the fishes. How can they sleep at night? Because they don't care. They don't care. They don't care. Right? I mean, you look at this stuff. Look at these images here. I got quite a few here. Here's this one, right? It says, no, Democrats don't want open borders. And then right over here, right, there's nothing wrong with open borders. Same company, right? What about this one? From Philly.com. Melania Trump's RNC fashion. A scary statement, right? I remember this one. Very well, right? She was wearing white and this and that, and it was just, whoa, so scary, right? But look at this right here. DNC fashion. Hillary Clinton looked presidential in all white pantsuit. Maybe because Melania had a dress and Hillary had a pantsuit. Maybe that's a big difference, guys. Humongous. I mean, it just changes everything, right? And what about this one? Here we go on the left side. Why Ivanka Trump's new haircut should make us very afraid. Ooh, scary. Oh, wait, over here. Look. The uproar over AOC's hair is a reminder that women can't win under the patriarchy. Oh, no. The patriarchy. I forgot about the patriarchy. Last one, guys. I promise. This is too much fun. Trump's vaccine can't be trusted. Right. Oh, it's Trump's vaccine. Please tell me you remember this one. Right. It was Trump's vaccine, right? When it was under development and the federal government was paying millions, probably billions of dollars to help these manufacturers, develop these vaccines. And please, whether or not they do what they're supposed to do or the effectiveness, that's not in the scope of the video. I'm not going to go there. That's not the point. I'm just pointing out the fact that when they were developing the vaccines, when Trump was in office, these things were scary and dangerous. Ooh. But now that Biden's president and the Democrats are kind of mostly in charge of Congress, suddenly these vaccines are safe and effective. And in fact, they're coming out with vaccine cards. And they're talking about vaccine passports. If you don't get this vaccine, you're not going to be allowed places. Maybe. But they're talking about it, right? Same vaccine, right? So why do they do this? How can they be like this? Like I said earlier, we wonder, how can they sleep at night? They don't care. But there's more to it. There's really more to it. And I want to share something with you. Give you some depth. Really equip you with the mental tools that you need to understand why. Okay? Because it's very important, right? Sun Tzu reminds us in The Art of War, right? If you know yourself, but not the enemy, for every battle, for every victory, you will suffer a defeat. And I really think, in fact, I know that's why us on the side of the right, I guess, conservatives, libertarians, people who are interested in, facts and logic, that's why we're not really getting a lot of grounds, I feel like, because we don't really understand the enemy, their motivations. But luckily, George Orwell wrote about them for us in 1984, and I'm going to read a short little excerpt. George Orwell himself was a socialist, but he, after hanging around socialists, he really got to see what they were like and what they were about, and he found out how horrifying it was. And he wrote about it. Now, of course, 1984 is a work of fiction, but he took his experiences, true, real experiences, and he put them in this book. So, I just wanted to share a little excerpt, and I think you'll find this very enlightening. Let's see. Just to give you a little background, 1984, it's dystopian. Winston Smith is the main character. Spoiler alert, he gets captured by the party, and this guy named O'Brien is interrogating him. And yeah, that's kind of where this takes off. So he's interrogating him, and it reads like this. Now, I will tell you the answer to my question. It is this. This is O'Brien speaking. The party seeks power entirely for its own sake. We are not interested in the good of others. We are interested solely in power. Not wealth or luxury or long life or happiness. Only power. Pure power. What pure power means you will understand presently. We are different from all the oligarchies of the past, in that we know what we are doing. All the others, even those who resembled ourselves, were cowards and hypocrites. The German Nazis and the Russian communists came very close to us in their methods, but they never had the courage to recognize their own motives. They pretended, perhaps they even believed, that they had seized power unwillingly and for a limited time, and that just round the corner there lay a paradise where human beings would be free and equal. We are not like that. We know that no one ever seizes power with the intention of relinquishing it. Power is not a means, it is an end. One does not establish a dictatorship in order to safeguard a revolution. One makes the revolution in order to establish the dictatorship. The object of persecution is persecution. The object of torture is torture. The object of power is power. Now do you begin to understand me? Winston was struck, as he had been struck before, by the tiredness of O'Brien's face. It was strong and fleshy and brutal. It was full of intelligence and a sort of controlled passion before which he felt himself helpless, but it was tired. There were pouches under the eyes. The skin sagged from the cheekbones. O'Brien leaned over him, deliberately bringing the worn face nearer. "You are thinking," he said, "that my face is old and tired. You are thinking that I talk of power, and yet I am not even able to prevent the decay of my own body. Can you not understand, Winston, that the individual is only a cell? The weariness of the cell is the vigor of the organism. Do you die when you cut your fingernails?" He turned away from the bed and began strolling up and down again, one hand in his pocket. "We are the priests of power," he said. "God is power. But at present power is only a word so far as you are concerned. It is time for you to gather some idea of what power means. The The first thing you must realize is that power is collective. The individual only has power insofar as he ceases to be an individual. You know the party slogan, freedom is slavery. Has it ever occurred to you that it is reversible? Slavery is freedom. Alone, free, the human being is always defeated. It must be so, because every human being is doomed to die, which is the greatest of all failures. But if he can make complete, utter submission, if he can escape from his identity, if he can merge himself into the party so that he is the party, then he is all-powerful and immortal. The second thing for you to realize is that power is power over human beings, over the body, but above all, over the mind. Power over matter, external reality, as you would call it, is not important. Already our control over matter is absolute. Power. Pure, unadulterated power. That's what they're after, and that's why they don't care. The left is after power. They don't want truth. They don't want reason. They don't even want justice or fairness or any of these qualities that are given to us by providence. They're against those things. They are after power for power's sake. And that's how come they can lie to us like that. That's how come they can sit there and tell us these things. They'll tell us the moon is made of cheese. They'll tell us men can be women. They'll tell us anything, right? Anything. They'll say the ocean is made out of strawberries. Or, I don't know, juice. It doesn't matter to them. They don't care. They want power. And one of the main things about power is making people believe what you want them to believe. I mean, control over the mind is really the ultimate power, isn't it? If you can make people believe men are women, you can make them believe pretty much anything, right? I mean, let's not kid ourselves. That's what they're after, right? That's why they can sit there with a straight face and rant about Trump and his bone spurs. Or they can sit there and they can say Trump is an insane madman and that we should get the 25th Amendment, right? You remember that one? The 25th Amendment. We need to get rid of him, do a constitutional thing. But then now we have Joe Biden in office. The man clearly slurs his words, right? He forgets things. He says things that aren't true. And he might not necessarily be lying, but in his head they're true, but in reality they're not true. He's probably misremembering them. I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt here, because I'm such a nice guy, right? But nothing. Not a peep. Not a peep, right? When Trump has the keys to the nuclear, oh, it's a big deal. But Biden, who can't seem to remember things quite well, him having the keys is okay, right? It's fine and dandy. Actually, it probably is fine and dandy, because he'd forget the code. Nuclear war avoided, right? Anyway. I hope you think on this one. I hope you dwell on this one. It's important to me, and I've come to this realization a while ago, and I just wanted to share it with you. And like I said, I stumbled on a few articles, and it reminded me of this one that I'd read a while ago, and I get a kick out of it. I laugh. Because if I didn't laugh, I'd cry. I mean, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? They're not interested in these things. And in closing, right, I wanted to share one last thought with you. You say, well, this is awful, this is terrible, right? They're not interested in the truth or reason or logic or anything. What do we do? You know? And I'm going to ask you, what can you do, right? Imagine this. Imagine we're going to play a board game. Chess. We're going to play chess. And our opponent, suddenly, out of the blue, at the start of the game, decides that he's not going to play by the rules anymore. And you think, what the heck? What do you mean you're not going to play by the rules? They say, I'm going to do whatever it takes to win the game. Whatever it takes to win the game. Right? And so this guy, our opponent, he moves his queen wherever it's advantageous to him. He moves it halfway across the board. He moves it all the way across the board. He moves his queen right next to our king. He moves his pawn sideways, you know? It's just, he moves the horses everywhere, right? He's just not following the rules. He's making the rules up along as he goes, you know? Kind of like a child would. Have you ever played with a child? Right? Kind of like a child. They say, well, I'm going to do this. And you tell them, you can't do that. Well, that's a new rule. I made it up. It's something children do, by the way. I'm a father. I'm a parent. And I've been around plenty of kids to know that's what they do, right? I did it myself as a child. We were playing Army Men. Oh, I have a nuke. You can't do that, right? That's what they're doing. That's literally what they're doing. They're changing the rules as we go to suit their needs because they want to win the game. Now ask yourselves this. Would you want to play a game where the rules are rigged? Would you want to play a game like that where the rules, the laws, the regulations are all in favor of your opponent? Where your opponent has rigged the game entirely so that you just aren't going to win the game no matter how you play? You wouldn't play, right? I hope you wouldn't. You'd pack up. You'd say, see ya. I'm not playing. I'm not obligated to follow your dumb rules because you cheat. I'm not obligated to follow your laws, your regulations of this game in Minecraft because you're cheating. Right? I'm not going to play with you. If you're not going to play by the rules that we agreed to, the Constitution, right? Then we're just not going to play. We're done. Right? I would hope that would be your reaction to somebody who cheats at a board game. At a board game in Minecraft. Because you can't win. You're just not going to win, right? They're going to make it. They're going to make up the rules. They're going to say whatever, do whatever, because they just want to win. They're not interested in playing fair. You lose. You lose. You're going to lose. They're going to do everything they can to make sure you lose. So don't play. Don't play the game. So, anyway, just wanted to share that all with you. Just some interesting thoughts, tidbits to arm you mentally for the game, if you catch my drift. I'm telling you, they're not interested in hypocrisy. They don't care. They just want power. And they're willing to say and do anything to get it. Anyway, I could go on forever, but I won't. It's late, and seems like a good time to stop there. I think I made my point, so... What you do from here is up to you, of course, but I think I made a pretty good case. So from there, I will wish you all a good weekend. Hope you have a great holiday weekend. Labor Day is here, so hope you have a good time with your family, or, I mean, heck, even by yourself, you know, just chilling, reading, playing video games. You can have fun by yourself, too, right? But either way, by yourself or with family and friends, you know, I wish you the best. If you're having a hard time, if you're struggling, I'll keep you in my thoughts and prayers. If you're having a good time, I will also keep you in my thoughts and prayers because, you know, let's be honest, having a good time is good. So, you know, I hope things keep going along for you. I hope you leave me a comment. Leave me a comment below. Check out the show notes for any additional show details, descriptions, stuff like that, info that I didn't cover in the show. Will be down there. Like I said, leave me a comment. I love comments. I love the feedback. Really helps out, and I'd really appreciate it. So please leave me a comment. Yeah, I think that's about it. Have a great weekend, everybody, and take care. Have a good night.